Welcome back to Carson Tate's video log. So it's May, and here in Texas last night we had a gazillion tornadoes touching down, and I know Oklahoma City had the same thing happen, and Joplin, Missouri, and I'm sure other parts of the country have had horrible, horrible weather. Got me to thinking as I was typing on my manuscript when all the big weather hit that better back this stuff up. And as writers, that is a very important concern, and we all have our special methods, so I thought I would share the 4,000 or 4 or so methods that I use to back up my material. So the main thing that you want to do is have a backup of your manuscript that's not on your because things happen to computers. People spill Cokes on them. Never happened to me. People drop them. People lose them, maybe? So all manner of things can happen to the actual device. So step one, have a backup. So let's talk about the different kinds of backups that we can use. Okay, so the most portable way to back up your stuff, well, first of all, before I use any kind of device, I email the document to myself. I have extra email addresses. I just choose one, email it to another, and then I keep a folder in that email account for all my stored manuscripts. I have them for every version of every manuscript for all 4 or 5 books that I've written so far. And, you know, a Word document doesn't take up a lot of space, so it's not going to cramp up your computer or anything like that. But it is just a good way to just send it out in the internet to yourself, and then you have it in an internet file somewhere. And technically that's stored in a virtual place that you should be able to access. It's not actually on your computer until you open it and download it. But then it's still available as long as you don't delete that email. So the next thing I do, because you want to have lots of layers of backup, is I use these little devices. So these are jump drives. I've got them in all sizes. I've got about 4 million of them. I carry them with me everywhere. I always have one of these. They're very handy. So these are old school. They're like 1 gig, which nowadays costs like $4 or $5. And that'll hold like 1 million versions of a manuscript. I'm not exaggerating. It really does hold like 1 million versions of a manuscript. But speaking of devices, they happen to be going off. So I have one here that's 4 gig. That'll hold just a ton. But these fail. These don't always work. So you want to, switch them out. Don't use the same one every time. I've had these break down, and then you're back, with your computer. Maybe you spilled Coke on this. It just doesn't work anymore. And then you're out everything that's on it. So keep a few of those, rotate them around for backups. Another thing I use, you can back up to a disk. That's kind of old school, but you can do it. I don't even have a disk drive on my computer. I have one I can plug in, but that's kind of cumbersome. But once a week, I back up pretty much everything on my computer onto this, which is a hard drive backup. It just plugs in to the USB port, and I can just I can program it to just back everything up. So I don't have to think about it. Just keeps a 1-week backup, and I try and do that once a week just to have an extra. I may not have the most current version of my manuscript if I lose everything, but at least I have something. This one holds about 320 gig. I think it was like $50, $60. You can get up to 1 terabyte now for like $70, $80. Well worth the money. So the other thing I do is I save my manuscript into a Dropbox, which is a nifty little application. And it's got lots of, I'll show it to you here in just a second, but the really cool thing about it is that I can install it on every computer I own, and it's on my iPhone and my iPad, and if I save a document into my Dropbox, then it's available anywhere, kind of like the email, but I can sign on to my Dropbox from anywhere, and there it is. It's right there. And magically, like if I save it here, then it'll appear on my phone. It's kind of magic and super special. But the cool thing about it is that then I can write anywhere I am, where there happens to be a computer or internet connection where I have a keyboard and I can type on that same document, no matter where. And if I save it back into my Dropbox, then it appears in that version everywhere. So there are other things, I'll show you the Dropbox in a minute, but there are other things like that. They call them clouds. And because it's like some cloud of information in the sky you back up your information to. There's lots that are accessible to personal users like ourselves. Mozy, you can just Google cloud computing and cloud storage devices, and you can subscribe. I know that Dell has one. I think Apple has one as well, where you just save your documents and they store them in a cloud. And so if everything, like if Armageddon happened, well, Armageddon everywhere except the computers that run the cloud. If Armageddon in your town happened, then you could go to another town where there's actually still computers left and access your information because it's in the cloud. And we assume that Armageddon does not get the clouds. So let's look at Dropbox for just a sec, and I'll show you how it works. Okay, so here's what we've got so far. I'm writing, and I'm in Word, and I've just written this, and I'm calling it The Great American Lesbian Novel. That's all I have so far. So I'm going to come up here, and I'm going to save this, and I'm going to save as. Now, here's the cool part, and this is the Mac, of course, so it's going to be a little different on your other, but it's not much different. I'm going to save it into my Dropbox. And so I'll hit save. And then we back away, and we wait, and we save, and then we close the document, and this is going to be the magical part of what's going on here. So I come up and I look at my little icon. Am I making everybody sick yet? And I open my Dropbox folder, and it's down here, and do we name our document? Oh, wait, there it is. There it is. It's The Great American, left out the word lesbian, damn it, novel. But it is The Great American Lesbian Novel. So I'm going to close that, and I'm going to take a look at my phone here. This is my iPhone, and I'm going to click on the Dropbox icon and open it, and then I'm scrolling, and look, oh my gosh, there it is. Not focusing too well, but there it is, The Great Novel. We're just losing words as we go. But there it is on my phone. I can open it and play with it, and awesome. And done. So not the most smooth of experiments, but it kind of gives you an idea of how you can take a document and put it in the sky with just a few clicks of your tiny little mouse. And the moral of the story is, back it up. And anyone who's lost a document, even part of a document, knows how important this is. And I lost a whole computer before, and it's just tragic. There are lots of other sources out there. Check them out. And thanks for tuning in. I hope you remember to back up, stay in the clouds, and have a great summer. Jaws back in the fall. This is Carson Tate's Video Log, signing out.